Hey, welcome back. This is the third part of the Pinot Noir, making Pinot Noir from a kit, specifically the Grand Cru wine kit. So it's been about 3 weeks since since fermentation ended, and we stabilized and cleared the wine. So I should have racked it again last week, but been busy, and it's not going to hurt it just to sit another week in the main cardboard. What I've also decided to do is, this one, it was fermented with some wood chips. It doesn't say in the instructions of whether they were medium toast, American oak, French oak, medium toast, medium plus. It doesn't say. But what I'm going to do is get another specific gravity reading of this, the final specific gravity reading. I've also bought some SO2 test kits. So I'm going to do an SO2 reading, which I haven't done in the previous wines, and partly because you don't need to do it with the kits because everything's been formulated. So the SO2 has already been added after fermentation, so this should be good. So I'm just going to do it as a check and just to do it once and get the feel for it. So I'm going to do that, and then what I did is I bought 4 different kinds of oak chips. I bought American oak medium toast, American oak medium plus toast, French oak medium toast, and French oak medium plus toast. What I've got is, I've got 4-gallon jugs, cardboards, 4-gallon jugs, and what I'm going to do is first taste this just to see how oaky it is. If it's enough, then I'll probably just leave it. But what I'm planning on doing is siphoning off, racking this into 4 of those jugs. This is 6 US gallons, and then bottling the rest of this. So the idea is having 4-gallon jugs of this Pinot Noir, and put in, you're supposed to put in like 1 to 2 ounces per 5 or 6 gallons of wine for a month or 2 is what I've found recommendations online to be. So that's about 0.2 ounces-ish, 0.2 to 0.3 ounces per gallon. So what I'm going to do is add those wood chips, each one into each of the 4-gallon jugs. Let it sit for maybe 2 weeks to 2 to 6 weeks. I'll test it occasionally just to see, make sure it doesn't get too oaky and nasty for my own taste. And just to see, what I'm curious on is the different flavors that each of the oak imparts into the Pinot Noir. So I think it'll be an interesting and fun little experiment to do. So, all right, so the wine is really clear. Looks good. So let's see. There it is. Kind of. So smells good. I'll taste it after I make the measurement. Yeah, it's right at 1.00 specific gravity, which appears a little high. It was, when I took the measurement before, when I did it, to get it in here, it was 0.998. So maybe I screwed up on that other measurement. Try it out. But not overly dry. So, and it's not sweet. I mean, it's a little bit sweet, but it's not like, I wouldn't call it a sweet wine at all. So it's pretty good. So I think I am going to do the oak. That's what I'll do. It's pretty good. So now I got to do the free SO2 kit, trying just to make sure that there's enough SO2 in here to ensure that it's stable over the aging process. So once it goes in vials, it's stable and doesn't get funky. I don't think that's a technical term, but that's what I'll call it. So I'll be back after I finish going through these one more time, these instructions, to make sure I got it right, and then we'll do the test. So this is a Accuvin test kit. So ACCUVIN is the company. So Accuvin free SO2 test kit. So we're looking for 20 to 40 parts per million for free SO2 to be, we're looking for that value for the wine to be ready to be bottled. So these test kits are pretty dummy proof, so I should be able to do this without an issue, hopefully. So take the black, put it in the green, put the green cap back on, shake for a minute. So you're not supposed to fill it up. That's just an overflow tube. So this is what you're supposed to fill, is just this part. So let me get back. So you're just supposed to fill up this part. So you're supposed to wipe the excess off with your hand or a towel or of some sort. So excess is off. Okay, yep. You're supposed to place the tip of the sample. You're supposed to tape it into the sample and push. And pull back up. So keep it pressed, keep the bulb pressed so that you don't get any couple shakes. Let it sit for 5 minutes. So I'll be back in 5 just to see how it does. Now, one last thing is I've got these pH strips. They're cheap, $3 I think for all these. It just gives you a rough pH. The readings are from from Precision Labs, 2.5 up to 4.4. Because for SO2, for a high pH, you're supposed to use a different solution, and for low pH, there's 2 different colored caps in there, red and green. So if it's a high pH, you use a red cap solution. If it's a lower pH, 3.6 or lower, you use the green cap. So this is 3.6 or lower. The key to this is, even the lighting down here is bad. It looks orange, but if I go upstairs to the better lighting, it turns out it's green and it matches up with 3.6. So with these pH, if you don't have a digital reader and you're just using these colors, make sure you've got good light. I'm looking to, the pH readers aren't that expensive. The cheaper ones are like $30, so I think I'm just going to buy a digital reader, just to take some of the guesswork out of looking at the different colors. So I'll be back at 5 to see what the color of this is. Alright, it's been more than 5 minutes. So taking a look at this, the color of this compared with the chart that's on the paper, and I'll give it a close-up in a second. This is very, very difficult because it's difficult to tell actually in what range it is. To me, it appears as it's in the safe range of between 20 and 40. but I could easily say that it might be less than 20, it might be 10. But I'm going to go with around 25 to 28 ppms parts per million, so within the safe area. Just to give you an idea, this is the test. So those are the colors that you're looking at, and you're trying to match up with this. Now this looks like it's really dark, but if you bring it into the light, it's more in the range of over here. So if you bring it into decent light, but it's not perfect by any means. It gives you a ballpark reading. So yeah, I need to come up with a better system and more of a professional-ish type system where you have an actual, we're doing more accurate readings. So I'll look into getting one of those, and then maybe doing a tutorial on a video, and then also doing a post about it. But meantime, it's kit wine. I knew it was going to be good to go. I just kind of wanted to run through this just to see what it was like, what it looked like for a rating that was sufficient for bottling. So now I know. Now we get to racking this into the 1 gallon jugs so that I can then add in my few wood chips and see the difference in taste that the different wood chips and the different toasts impart on the wine. So let's get to it. All right, so here we have it. We got 4 gallon wine jugs. Haven't put the oak chips in yet, but they're all topped up and capped off with airlocks. And now I'm just bottling the leftovers, so the pure Pinot without the added wood chips. So something kind of a base to test, to taste test, see what the difference is on the flavors imparted by the different oaks. So this is easy. I suggest, if you're going to do it, get the floor model, cork press, rather than the hand one, because this is just easier just to slide it in. You put the cork in up top, push down, and voila, cork in the bottle. Easy peasy. So before I go upstairs and do the oak chips, just wanted to show you the sediment at the bottom of the carboy. That's what's left, and there's about a ½ inch or so down there. The last couple bottles of wine will probably have some sediment into them. I'll just make sure I drink those at home instead of bringing them over to a friend's house. I like to clean up as I go, just so I don't have a big mess at the end, and also just to try to make sure I keep everything as clean as possible. So right now, before I do the oak chips, I'm going to go up and clean this out, and then do the oak chips, and I'll be back. Just show you steaming the oak chips and then putting them in the gallon jugs. All right, be back in a bit. All right, so it was late last night, so I didn't do the oak last night, so I left that for today. And so what I did is I measured out about 0.2 ounces per gallon, which matches up to the 1 ounce to 2 ounce per 5 gallon. So I'll show you that process. So I've just got them steaming in here to kill anything. I've got them set out so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know what's what. So I'll leave those in there for a few minutes
to basically sanitize them, and then we'll put them down in the gallon jugs. All right, be back in a sec. All right, we're back in the basement, getting ready to put the oak in the gallon jugs. So we've got everything appropriately labeled. Here is, we got the oak. I know which is which. American medium plus, French medium plus, and then I've got same American medium plus, French medium plus. So, all right. So, pretty simple. Let's do this. Pretty simple. Trying to get some of these tops off. So this is American medium. Sure everything's on tight. Good to go. And just to show you the stuff that I'm replacing, it's kind of cracked. I was afraid. It's pretty clean down here, but I was afraid it was going to maybe crumble into the wine, or just have cracks and maybe let some air into the wine when you don't want air in the wine. So that's it. Let this sit. Probably test it in 2 weeks just to see what the flavor is compared to the untainted, not tainted, but the original Pinot Noir kit. So without the oak in it. So we'll see. All right, be back in a couple weeks to see how that goes. Slug on.